What happens when one of the most powerful figures in hip-hop loses everything? The money, the influence, the protection, and becomes just another inmate behind steel doors? Because according to statements made in court, Diddy isn't just locked up. He's already been targeted. His lawyer revealed that while Diddy was being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center,
Are you concerned that Sean Diddy Combs could be sexually assaulted, violently assaulted? Is that a thing? Because based on what was said in court, it feels like a thing.
Yeah, it clearly is a thing. I mean, they're already, and he did not want to make a big deal of it. They already tried to shank him once at the MDC, and that was thwarted. And it happens in prison. I mean, you and I could tick off how many times we are aware of somebody getting seriously injured or killed in prison. And so they're going to have to keep him somewhere that they can keep an eye on him. It would have obviously been better if he had gotten less time and had been at a camp, but he's going to be in a facility where somebody's going to have to, from the BOP, and I think they're well equipped to do it if they can, to keep an eye on him because he is a target.
someone allegedly tried to attack him with a weapon. The attempt failed, but in prison, that alone changes everything. One attempt is enough to put a name on the wall. It means people are watching, waiting, and talking. And when you're rich, famous, and widely hated, the danger doesn't go down. It multiplies. This is why the Bureau of Prisons has to treat someone like Diddy differently. Not out of favoritism, but out of necessity. High-profile inmates create high-risk situations. People get hurt in prison, people get killed. And when your name carries this much controversy, the threat becomes real fast. For decades, Diddy was the definition of control. He controlled rooms, careers, narratives. His presence alone shifted energy. People moved differently when he walked in. But prison strips all of that away. There's no entourage, no publicist, no leverage. When the doors close, there's no stage, no audience, no power structure to lean on. Just time and consequences. That's why Jaguar Wright questioned how someone who once claimed divine purpose, saying he was doing what God told him to do, would process life now that control is gone.
Jimmy Henchman? Jimmy
Yeah,
Henchman,
he was bringing up Jimmy Henchman and all of this and all of that. And it's so funny because everything that he's saying is true, except for he left out one key part. Jimmy the Henchman did plenty of business with Diddy. Not just Diddy. I could think of a couple other rappers he did some dirty work for as well. And it's just so funny that he decided to start off by saying, oh, see, this was wrong. And they tried to get you to believe this and they tried to get you to believe that, except for that connecting part. And then the simple fact that you have Keefe D saying that he was contracted to handle up. So clearly, we're talking about the kind of situations where someone is using someone by proxy to handle their business for them. Now, of course, all of this is alleged. Keefe D, it's really strange. Keefe D, I'll never forget because I went out to Vegas to cover his trial. I had a press pass. I was going to be in there the whole 9 yards, but they kept pushing everything back and pushing everything back. And then he got attacked just like Tory Lanez did, and everything went all to hell. Isn't it wild that he's been in there since 2023 and we're still waiting for his trial to come up in 2026? Puff didn't get pinched until a year after him and managed to get to trial and get through trial and get sentenced and get to serve his time before Keefe D. Keefe D been sentenced since 2023.
yeah, he must not have the right to a speedy. They must have skipped that part.
Right to a speedy trial. I remember when I first got out there and he couldn't get a paid lawyer to represent him. He was dealing with a public defender. I rode in the elevator with a public defender twice. And he had money. Nobody would take his case.
Wow.
The word literally went out into the street to not take his case. to leave him in the hands of the system.
Faith sounds different when freedom disappears. Conviction feels different when every decision is made for you. Whatever belief system someone leaned on outside gets tested inside. The controversy didn't stop with the courtroom. The documentary tied to 50 Cent added fuel to an already burning fire. Jaguar didn't say the documentary lied. Her issue was what it left out.
This documentary, if you didn't hate Diddy, it will make sure that you did. What I hate about it is how sanitized it is. And that's what I've been saying all along. It's sanitized. It's set up to make it seem like Diddy is the only bad guy, when it's keeping out a lot of other people that were involved, who had their hands involved in all kinds of things, which also makes it vulnerable for people to go after it. Like I said, it's very clever. It's very, very, very clever.
Now
It's just enough to make you hate the whole situation, but there's just enough misplaced and put in the wrong situation, and this added here, and this for you to be able to still have reasonable doubt on whether or not any of this stuff is real. Yeah. It's clever.
Would you call the documentary educational, informational, entertaining? Like what would you say this documentary?
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting.
And it's sad because there's a lot of stuff in there that's true, but there's enough left out to create doubt. And that's the same thing that happened with the trial. Actually, with the trial, it was a lot worse, because with the trial, there was just a lot of stuff left out. There was more stuff in this documentary that was in the trial. Half of the stuff in this documentary should have been presented at the trial. Can you imagine if they had had any testimony from Little Rod and the footage that he had from that incident, that firearm incident where the guy G was damn near mortally wounded and was losing his life, and the footage that he had from that? Can you imagine if that had been shown to the jury?
By isolating Diddy as the sole villain and quietly removing others who were allegedly involved, the narrative became clean, digestible, and dangerous. Because when you paint one man as the face of everything wrong, you don't just inform the public, you create a target. In prison, perception matters more than context. Inmates aren't watching full documentaries. They're seeing headlines, viral clips, and public outrage. And that documentary didn't just shape opinion on the outside, it amplified emotion, enough truth to spark anger, enough missing pieces to create doubt, and just enough mystery to keep everything unresolved. Then there's the timing, which raised serious questions. The documentary was announced before arrests, before raids, before charges were even filed, yet somehow included footage that didn't exist at the time of the announcement. Footage showing legal strategies, counter lawsuits, and conversations about shaping public perception before a case even officially began. Some of that footage surfaced briefly and then disappeared. That doesn't feel accidental. In Hollywood and high-level industry circles, very little ever is. This fits a larger pattern we've been seeing lately, where documentaries don't just reflect trials, they influence them. Public opinion is formed early, narratives are locked in, and by the time a courtroom opens, the verdict has already been decided in the court of public perception. People keep asking why 50 Cent is so invested in this.
He announced that he was going to be doing this documentary before the arrest, which is kind of interesting when you think about it, because the footage that he used, that he featured in this documentary, happened after he announced he was going to be doing the documentary.
Yeah. Yeah.
How lucky was that? What a find.
So
What a find that was. Like, let's think about that. He announced he was going to be doing the documentary December 2023 with Netflix. And the star footage that you use to get people to re-upload or resubscribe to Netflix, to make this the #1 in their TV shows division for almost 2 weeks straight, beating out Stranger Things. How much stranger is that?
I'm not
You,
Becky.
you, this footage didn't even exist when you said you were going to be doing this documentary. So we've got a videographer, a rogue videographer that has this very, very, very explosive, very explosive footage of him literally sitting on camera, planning how to go after survivors, how to poison the jury pool, how to fix his trial in advance before he's even arrested. I mean, like, is anybody not forgetting when Mark Garrett, when Garrett, no, not Garrett Goose, when Mark Agnafilo was sitting there talking to the sons in the hallway, and they're sitting there filming, and he's sitting up there. Yeah, well, see, what we got to do is we got to go and we got to put countersuits on all of these people. We have to create lawsuits ourselves.
According to Gene Deal, it goes far beyond personal drama. Before the fame, before the empire, 50 Cent was building momentum and doors kept closing.
He did, man. Yeah, he got everybody going, man. He's getting a lot of backlash, man. Like, people are like mad at 50 for getting behind this thing.
Well, see, the thing about it is that people are out their rabbit mind, and they gonna sit up here and they gonna say some stuff like, they try to make it up like, it's because of a girl, it's because of a woman. A man that can have any woman in the damn world, you understand, go any parts of the world, find beautiful women all over the world, that's willing to do whatever he wants to. I'ma be mad because this dude got this one? Nah, it's bigger and it's more than that. They don't want to say it. A lot of these cats out here don't want to tell the truth behind shit. You understand?
Powerful voices had influence over who got opportunities and who didn't. And Diddy's voice carried weight in those rooms. If someone helps block your rise, isolate you, and stand silent while others move against you, that history doesn't disappear. You don't forget it. You wait. Another layer came from Sly Diggler, who described Diddy as someone driven not by attraction, but by control. Strategic decisions, calculated moves. Out of endless options, certain choices felt intentional. Not random, not innocent. To him, those decisions weren't about desire, they were about dominance. And when communication ended the moment things became inconvenient, the illusion broke. What once felt personal revealed itself as transactional. What's most revealing is why some people still defend Diddy so fiercely. Gene Deal suggested it's not really about protecting him, it's about protecting behavior, protecting systems, protecting patterns that benefited a lot of people for a long time. When one man falls, it threatens an entire era of silence, and that's what scares them. So the real question isn't just whether Diddy is paying for his own actions. It's whether he's being positioned to carry the weight for an entire system that's finally being exposed. If you want more deep dives like this, stories that go beyond the headlines and connect the dots others won't, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. Because this story isn't over, and when it moves again, we'll be right here breaking it down.